in Iowa. You can see the Iowa flag flying behind me. It's a memorial site. I can't see the memorial site because of the way that I have the camera positioned. I didn't bring my selfie stick with me. Geez, I wonder, did I make this video public? Did I even do that? I hope I made it public. Is it public, guys? If it's public, say something in the question marks here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do another thing. We got one watch and one thumbs up, or is it unlisted? Did it come up in your feed? Oh, man, one person. I think I didn't hit the public thing. Is it public? Okay, good. Man, it's hot out here, guys. It's like 95, close to 100 degrees. But I wanted to talk about a couple different things. Number one, I'm bouncing around. I'm looking at properties today. I'm hopefully going to find a great new place to live. But two, this cancel culture. And, I'm going to defend the New York Post when the New York Post is, rife with propaganda and lies and has lied about myself and my films before in the past as well. But let's talk about Tucker for a second, okay? Now, Tucker Carlson made some comments about that 17-year-old kid that was armed, that's now charged with murdering 2 people, etc. And essentially, those comments were like, why isn't America concerned that we now have teenagers in the street with weapons trying to defend against looters, and we think that aspect is okay? Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. However, if you say that now, you're a right-wing racist, you hate black people, it's the most ridiculous shit ever. And when I'm seeing Fire Tucker Carlson now trending on Twitter, you know who I saw jump in? And this makes me want to take Tucker Carlson's side even more. His former mentor, William Crystal, jumped in. Okay, go check out my Twitter feed, it's in there. But basically, William Crystal also now wants Tucker Carlson fired. Now, Tucker's fired shots at William Crystal, who is an unapologetic warmonger and neocon, and somebody who I believe to be one of the most revolting right-wing figures in modern history. William Crystal is a terrible person. He knows he's a terrible person. He knows what his agenda is. And if he wants to pile on to Tucker Carlson as well for this same issue, I got to take the side of Tucker Carlson. Now, this whole thing starts over a man getting shot in the back 7 times. Now, if you watched my video yesterday, I said, look, I don't want to see anybody get shot in the back 7 times. But I go, look, 2 days ago, when we only had the video of the guy walking away and getting shot, not the video of him in a physical altercation with the police before that, right? Because there's now video of him in a physical altercation with the police before he starts going to his car. And he's already, bear hugged and dumped a cop and the whole 9 in a struggle, okay? And this guy's got all sorts of priors as well. So they know what they're going into. He then goes to his car after that physical altercation. And I said to everybody, I go, look, I'm not happy the guy got shot in the back 7 times. Maybe they could have tased him. Maybe there was another way to go. But it clearly looked like he was going to reach for something. Like he was on a mission to the front side of his car. He obviously was not getting in his car to go drive away as he was with people, etc. He was reaching for something. The Post runs a story that the guy had a knife. Okay. That sounds just about right. Now, was it a gun? No. But if he did have a weapon, then obviously, and he was going for that weapon, the police are justified in using some type of force. And again, no one wants to see somebody paralyzed. Nobody wants to see somebody shot 7 times. But if we're going to act like criminals don't exist and that only black criminals are dealt that way by police, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I was having a beer last night at a place called Purgatory's Pub. And gentleman sitting next to me, he's, mid-40s, black guy, and we were having these conversations. We were talking about, basically what was going on in the country, and basically these conversations about race. And I challenged him a little bit. I said, look, man, I go, and by the way, he thought I was Spanish. He thought I was a Latino, right out of the gates. And I go, no, I get that a lot, but, that's not what this is about to me. I go, poor people are treated differently. I mean, let's be honest with you. If we're really going to go across the spectrum of how the justice system, all the way from law enforcement, all the way up to a judge and incarceration goes. Your money matters. Your money matters. That doesn't mean there's not racists. That doesn't mean skin color can't come into play sometimes. But if I don't have any money to defend myself, okay, I'm doing a longer time. My public defender could give a fuck about defending me, okay, as he's laughing it up with the DA and the prosecution's office all the time, okay? Now, let me put it to you really easy, okay? If I get pulled over, all right? If I get pulled over and I'm driving my 2011 Fiesta, right? Which I was in Iowa, and I did get pulled over here for doing 76 and a 70. You know, if my story's not checking out or they run my record and I've got previous record, they're going to follow up on me. If I've done jail time, if I have assault charges, it's not going to matter what the color of my skin is, okay? Now, they do the same thing to the same guy with a different color skin. It's going to be pretty much the same outcome, okay? Unless they've got a ton of priors. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, people in poverty are not treated differently, because they all can't defend themselves. They do longer sentences. They get wrapped up in these things. But bad people who have money get away with more, period. Period. They get away with more all the time. We see this throughout society. Think about it, okay? Look at the college scandal, right? Like, they made that a big, the Beverly Hills college scandal. All those people got slaps on the wrist. And in my opinion, the media, you know, put that out into the arena and it's like, look at all these bad rich people, and they're not even that rich, right? They're Hollywood rich. And when I say Hollywood rich, I mean like actor rich, you know? They're not like running companies or Peter Thiel rich or director rich or any of that stuff. And they rolled out kind of like Martha Stewart with her insider trading. Remember Martha Stewart with her inside, little slaps on the wrist. Oh, we got somebody. We got somebody. We'll make an example of them, right? But when it comes down to it, the real criminal class at the top, they don't ever do jail time. And I'll say this, I was surprised with the Harvey Weinstein thing. I got that one wrong. It shows you that if you keep pushing, maybe, just maybe, you can hold somebody accountable, right? Cosby would be another one. But when you talk about Weinstein and Cosby, right? Bradley Edwards mentioned, well, you know, we got a lot of those people involved with Jeffrey Epstein, right? And he said, here you had this guy who was running in the same circles as Epstein, Weinstein, and he's essentially running Hollywood. And yet we know big tech was running in the same circles with Weinstein. Bill Gates was running in the same circles as Weinstein. Microsoft was running in the same circles as Weinstein. And not only is Bill Gates not being investigated, not in prison, he's being amplified. He's being amplified during COVID-1984. If you don't think money buys justice, you ain't paying attention. Of course it does. Of course it does. That's the true injustice system, that there is a class of people at the tippity top that is above the law. You know, you look at Prince Andrew, right? And I only bring up Prince Andrew because he's part of these royal bloodlines. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not only interested in him abusing girls, but I'm more interested in him arms trading and being a part of this network, right? Well, he's going to get a royal honor in the coming year, even through this whole scandal. Because these scandals, they almost go nowhere, right? And when they do go somewhere, they get cut off. Like Epstein didn't kill himself twice. Right now, Ghislaine Maxwell, we're waiting to find out if we're actually going to get a trial next July. We're waiting to find out if we're actually going to get more of these depositions and documents that were covered up when Epstein was first arrested last summer. Okay? So there's so much to this, but I got to tell you, the cancel culture and the idea that we should get rid of somebody, whether I disagreed with them or not, right? Like Tucker Carlson or any of these people, or even Don Lemon, who I can't stand. Chris Cuomo, who I can't stand. You don't cancel people, okay? What you do is you expose their propaganda, right? The New York Post is not great, but I got to tell you, during COVID-1984, it's been better than most. But if you want to prove, you know, the Post has been inaccurate, just look at the Ghislaine Maxwell photos from the In-N-Out burger that got fed to them that essentially gave her cover for almost a year that had photoshopping in it. That's how you discredit somebody. All right? It's not like I want to put Tucker Carlson on this pedestal. But don't you think we should be asking that question? How did we get here in America with riots in the streets, with looters in the streets, with armed teenagers in the streets, okay, with murder in the streets, fire in the streets? The only thing to me that is even close to comparable to what has been going on now for the last several months in this country is the LA riots back with Rodney King, okay? And if you want riots, let me tell you something. You're going to get them when that Derek Chauvin trial hits. Because whether you like it or not, guys, whether you like it or not, that guy's going to have a defense, all right? I don't like what he did. I don't think he should have had his knee on that guy's neck for 8.5 minutes at all. But when, the media presents it like this guy wasn't a criminal, which he was, didn't do anything wrong, which it appears he did, didn't resist arrest, which has now been shown on body cams, right? Wasn't on drugs, but he was, and the fentanyl and whatever may have sped that up. And then you put Chauvin in that position after all that, and you're going to have a jury trial, and you've got to figure. I think they got him with second-degree murder, not first right now, so not quite premeditated, right? But even then, you're going to have to prove negligence after all those things and that he wasn't doing protocol. And we know that protocol was taught to the police by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, okay? And some of the videos and pictures I've seen of the Israeli Defense Force and how they treat Palestinians is beyond the pale. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. It's something we won't talk about in this country, because if you dare speak out of that against that, then you could possibly be canceled, right? But we'll do it here. And, I'm just letting people know. When they say not guilty, or they find them guilty of maybe manslaughter, a lesser crime, that's when we're going to see major riots in the streets. And folks, if we're still in this COVID 1984 situation when that happens 5-6 months down the line, our country is going to be in some serious, serious trouble. It already is. So, thumbs this up, subscribe, share, join the Burmese Brigade. I'm not sure how many times I'm going to be going live today, as I am on the road, obviously, and looking at new places to possibly move into. So, guys, if you can support me, the GoFundMe is down below. I encourage you to go check out what happened in Idaho. Go watch my Idaho AMA, at least the beginning of it, and see how people should be reacting to all of this. Here, before I go, why don't we show you this memorial we're sitting at here. He's apparently a bad guy. Is he the next guy we're going to take down? I love you.